Hello, my name is Kylie Foley, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about Costa Rica and their culture or their current health status, population and health status, and health problems of Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, life expectancy and HALE ratios for men are 79 and 70, and for women is 84 and 73. According to these numbers, women have higher life expectancy. This may be due to the work environment of males compared to females, and in terms of HALE, ischemic heart disease, road injury, and violence with others are top causes. In Costa Rica, the top 3 causes of DAILIES is ischemic heart disease, low back pain, and major depressive disorder. Overall, Costa Ricans have long life expectancies, although nutrition could play a big part in that as well. A lot of people within Costa Rica have economic problems and do not have as many nutritious food options for themselves and their families. Those who struggle due to money problems are directly impacted with nutrition issues, as well as nutrition issues could cause health issues such as high blood pressure, or in turn could influence HALE. The overview of healthcare systems. When I interviewed my person, they said, when asked about the healthcare system, they said all treatments are completely free of charge and covered by insurance. The regular checkup physicals were more intensive than those that are done here in the U.S., and it covered multiple services such as vaccinations, blood tests, and x-rays, which were all done in a hospital within one day, and a meal was provided as well. The emergency room visits take a little longer than they do in the U.S. would, but when I was asking him why he had to go to the emergency room, he had a shoulder injury. So he said that they did an x-ray beforehand, they fixed the shoulder, and then they did an x-ray after, and again, all of this was free of charge. COVID in Costa Rica. Okay, there have been over 500,000 cases and over 5,000 deaths due to COVID since March 2020. The Costa Rican government has put up sanitation mandates as well as travel mandates, and if the mandates are not followed correctly, there is a fine of 3,200,000 colones or $3,682 US. And this travel mandate was made in where you must be tested in order to leave the country, and depending on the time of day, you can't drive unless there is an emergency. Also, they do a lot of the same things as the U.S. with quarantine, vaccinations, and testing. Again, when I asked my interviewee, he said COVID was taken very seriously by Costa Rica. Businesses were closed during spikes in cases. Most businesses had sinks with soap to wash hands before entering and forehead thermometers to check temperatures. Strict limits were put on numbers in every business. Driving was restricted to every other depending on the license plate number. And each person visiting Costa Rica had to have health screening and travel health insurance. And last, there were nighttime curfews and mandatory closing hours for businesses and restaurants. Comparison to the U.S., in Costa Rica, there was a lot less hurry and rush around. Weekends were more focused on family time. Most people got their fruit from the weekend farmers markets, or what they called ferias. Vacation locations are less resort-like and more local-like, and people are more active and into fitness routines. Diets are more healthy than they are here in the U.S., and they use a lot less fried foods than they do here in the U.S. There are a few improvement recommendations. The first one is healthier lifestyle choices, which is better food and people being more active. People will not have to pay as much for healthcare as often because obesity and other health-related issues will not be as big of a problem. A decrease in non-communicable diseases can also help the government because they won't have to spend as much money through Medicaid and Medicare. Better lifestyle choices can also help people to collaborate with others more often without worrying about how they look or feel. And being more active in the community can lower health risk as well as increase people's mental health, which this is very important in making sure that everyone is as healthy as they can be physically, mentally, and emotionally. And when I asked my interviewee what he thought was the best improvement for Costa Rica, he said that the economy was devastated by a decrease in tourism because of COVID, and it started to recover, but generally the need to diversify exports and add service-based jobs may help them economically in the future. Which what I got from this was that if people began to have different exports, then more money would come in different ways. So I feel like I also agree with him and think that that would be great for improving Costa Rica. And in my interview, I interviewed my sister's brother-in-law. His name is Matthew, and he lived in Costa Rica with his significant other for over a year. He worked as an ESL teacher, which is English as a second language, and his girlfriend was a researcher for a branch of the UN. He didn't spend a lot of time around healthcare, but he had great presence within the community. Although he wasn't necessarily involved in healthcare, his presence within the community was more than enough to help me to learn more about Costa Rica as a whole. And he was able to talk in thorough detail about how COVID affected Costa Rica, and he also had a lot to say about the improvements. In conclusion, Costa Rica has universal health care and has the highest life expectancy within Latin America, which may be because of their way of life. Many Costa Ricans live a relaxed life without trivial concern, and this lack of concern for the things they cannot control can be a huge factor in their mental and physical health. Here are my references. And okay. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you learned something and have a great rest of your day.